Hi, you're on the couch at Fidelity with Mike DeLashmutt. My special guest today is Jason Chipman. He's representative of 120th District Legislature here in Missouri. So Jason, thanks for being my guest today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming in and spending a little bit of time with us. I know that you are the representative, 120th District. Why don't you tell our viewers real quick, where is the 120th? What's that cover?
It covers the vast majority of Crawford County. The only part of Crawford I don't represent is the far northwest corner, and I have about the eastern third of Phelps County. So I come into Rolla, the city limits just a little bit. The O Highway is my western dividing line all the way down to Dent County.
Well, that's neat. Well, Jason, I know a lot of people don't know you. They see you at different events. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? I know that you're married and you've got a couple of kids. Why don't you tell us?
I live in Stillville with my wife Elaine. We have 4 children, 3 boys and 1 girl. My oldest is 6, so we have a pretty busy time. We lived in St. James for 8 years, up until this past March, and I lived in Rolla for a few years before that. I'm a veteran. I spent 5 years in the Navy. I was aboard the USS John F. Kennedy aircraft carrier out of Jacksonville, Florida.
That's big. That's a big ship. That's one of the big ones.
Yeah, it's definitely a floating city. It is a floating city. Before that, I graduated from Stillville, so I am a local boy.
You are local all the way. That's it. And so you were on the USS Kennedy. So what did you do on there? What was your part of your MOS on there?
I was a machinist mate, so I worked down in the engine room. We made all the fresh water. We made all the electricity. We made the ship move through the water. We made all the steam that launched the planes off the ship. We made all the steam that they used to heat up the showers and all the food. And so it was a pretty, it was a busy place. And it was a dark, loud, nasty,
dark and
dirty kind of place.
Yeah. Now, that's a nuclear ship. No, it's not a nuclear.
It was actually the very last boiler-fired carrier.
Okay.
So it was a very technical way to get the boilers lit. You took a torch, soaked it in diesel fuel, lit it with a Zippo, and stuck it in a boiler, turned on the air and the gas. You have fire.
And poof, and
Yes.
there it goes. Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Well, that's neat. Well, back to your family now. How long have you been married? Goodness, you've been...
Ooh, let's see. Going on 8 years now.
And she puts up with you that long already. Wow.
Yeah.
And then you have 4 kids.
Yes.
All girls, all boys?
3. My oldest 3 are boys. Alexander is 6, Connor is 5, Xavier is 2, and Chloe, my daughter, she's 1.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's neat. And then I know that when you first got ready to get into the politics, you weren't doing anything with politics. You were working at the Brewer Science Center, weren't you?
After I got out of the Navy, I moved to Rolla. A friend of mine that I graduated with lived here. Yeah, he still works. He worked for UPS then. He still works for UPS today. And I moved back and lived with him. And I got hired on at Brewer Science shortly after that, and I was there for 14 years up until I got elected. Wow. And so yeah, I had never been involved in a campaign with any committees. I had just been somebody that just paid attention a lot.
Well, and then so you're a conservative. I know, very conservative. You do homeschool your kids,
yes.
Right? And so your wife gets to stay with them, which I think is absolutely wonderful. And in today's economy, that's a pretty tough thing to do. And then I'm thinking, wait a minute, you don't get paid that much as a state legislature, so you guys must live pretty frugal to make it all work out. Or you have really rich in-laws to make it happen.
We don't. No, we do live very frugally. My kids all have special needs when it comes to food. I myself have celiac disease, so I can't have gluten. But my children, not only is it gluten, but it's also dairy. It's corn to a certain degree. They cannot have fish, shellfish, nuts, peanuts. They cannot have eggs. So finding food that they can have is very difficult. And we, more often than not, have to just make our own out of the ingredients that we have available. And it's very expensive. We don't go out to eat hardly ever. It's very limited on what we can have when we go out to eat.
I would think that'd be pretty tough to go to any restaurants to be able to
You would
anything.
think it would save us money, but our food is so expensive as it is, just at home. I mean, you think that normal loaf of bread is $1.50. For us to make an equivalent, it's probably $6.
Woo.
You know, and we don't need a whole lot of bread. But when it comes to pasta, you have to buy rice pasta or corn pasta. Bread, it's rice bread. We have a lot of rice in our diet because that's one thing that we can't have.
Wow, that's it. So I know that you have allergies. Does your wife have allergies too, or
No.
then the kids can blame Dad?
Yes.
Yeah, they got.
They got me. That's the one thing that they can blame on me. Hopefully, and they have started growing out of them. My older two used to be allergic to a lot more than that, but over time they've started to grow out of it, and hopefully in a couple of years they'll have moved past all that. I myself didn't develop celiac until about 4 or 5 years ago, and at first I thought it was the milk allergy. I thought I was lactose intolerant, because they have a lot of the same symptoms. And I still go to the VA for all my healthcare needs, and they helped me figure out that it was celiac disease.
Oh my!
And so,
It's a good thing you didn't have that on the ship, or you would have been in big trouble.
they would have kicked me out.
Yeah.
They would have probably kicked me out of service for having those kind of allergies. I mean, even if you have asthma, as prevalent as that is, a lot of times that you cannot be in the military if you have asthma.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, this is really neat because, like I said, I know that you basically filled when Jason Smith he maxed out, or what do we call it, timed out? What is it called?
Well, he was going to term out.
Term out, but he took the other open.
Yes, he got elected to replace Joanne Emerson, who was our congresswoman.
Yes.
And so that left a hole in our district for state representative. And the governor would not call for a special election because, politics being politics, he knew that that seat was probably going to stay Republican, and that would have given Republicans 109 members in the House,
Which is a super majority. That's it.
So he played politics and refused to call for the special election until he got sued by 4 different groups, and that he still didn't have to do it then, but it put enough pressure on him. He finally called for a special election, but he put it on the same day as the primary. And I think his intentions were to confuse as many people as possible, and it did. It took me a little while to wrap my head around how it was going to work. So the person that was nominated for the special election that was going to win was only going to finish Jason's term, which would have been from the primary to January. And whoever won the primary in the general election would have taken over in January. So my opponent in the primary was Sean Cisco. He won the special election. So he served from September, which is when he got sworn in on veto session, until January. So he served for 4 months. And then I took over in January.
And you took over. That's neat. Well, listen, let's come back. Folks, we thank you for joining us. I do want to, this is brought to you today because we do have some wonderful sponsors that help us out. Guaranteed Green, Interior Landscaping, as well as Alyssa's at Benton Square, and Angie Parrott with By Design. And so we'll be right back after this break.